first things, what's it mean to be here in Fort Wayne and be a part of this Boilermakers on the Road tour?
Oh, it's pretty cool. I think anytime you can go out and talk about, I think for a fan, looking forward to like a football season, I think it's a little bit more because that's the next sport. A lot of times we do stuff in the summer, then we don't start up and we don't get going until playing games until November. But it's always a cool part of the season for us, kind of getting through workouts in the summer, giving them a couple of weeks off, and then starting back up when school starts. And our season's a lot different now in the fact that we start pretty early. And, we'll start at the end of September with official practice, but they allow us to have 4 hours in the summer for 8 weeks and 4 hours in the fall right as school starts. And so we're practicing a lot. And so when those guys do officially start in late September, they got their feet wet, especially the young guys. They understand what's going on. So it's pretty cool how they've set things up.
How's the summer going so far with with a little bit of turnover, losing Carson and losing Brady? And
It's fine. I mean, it's part of it. You don't get judged. Everybody who comes out of the summer says they have a great summer, whether they do or they don't. And the goal is to have, for basketball, to have a great winter and start to peak and be really good in February and March. So, but we have big shoes to fill. Obviously, losing Grady and Ryan Klein and Carson Edwards but we also had big shoes to fill the previous year, and we did a pretty good job. And the year before that, we lost Caleb Swanigan, and the year before that, we lost A.J. Hammonds and Raphael Davis. So we've lost some really good players here the last 4 years, and we've been able to, guys improve, guys get better, sign more guys, and still have quality seasons.
What have you thought about the summer so far from Travion Williams just being able to participate in the FIBA tournament and then
right.
And how he's done with you guys?
Well, he did a good job in the trials to get himself on that team, and played about 13, 14 minutes for that team in a reserve role and really gave them a punch off the bench and scoring and rebounding. But, he's got a chance to be a really good player and be an all-conference level type player. He's got to get himself out there and play more than 14, 15 minutes in a game. He's got to get himself in shape. He really worked hard after he got to campus last year, but he put himself in such a hole. And so now he's got to get himself in that spot where he can get out there and play 20 to 25 minutes a game and really help us and give us a couple different looks. I think he could play. Him and Matt obviously can back each other up, but they could also play together. And, the better that he can get into shape, the better we're going to be and the more versatile we're going to be.
We saw a lot of you here in the winter last year, watching a few guys from Fort Wayne area. What has this area meant to you recruiting-wise?
Well, we've gotten some really good players from here, and those guys have really came in and gave us a boost, and I think it's a blue-collar area, and they play hard, and good coaches in this area. And so anytime you get guys that are well coached and obviously have the ability to play, but we're just looking for, those all-around guys that fit at Purdue, want to get a great education and help us win championships.
I know you can't talk about them, specifically by name, but a couple guys we know you're looking for out of, the 2021 class from the area. How much do we expect to see you up here in the coming years as well, and what are you hoping to see, from the area?
Well, I think when you look at the play that's went on in this area, whether it's a small school or a big school, they've been very successful statewide. It's obviously a different format now with a lot of these guys because they play in everything. They play in AAU, they play in USA basketball, they play with their high school teams, and so these guys travel a lot and play against great competition, and we're always going to work this area. Fort Wayne's been very good to Purdue basketball.
Obviously, one of the guys from Fort Wayne was Grady. How excited are you to have him back on staff this year as a coach?
Well, Grady's did a really good job for us, and I should have redshirted him in his first year. We'd have loved to have him for another year, and obviously he was behind a really good player in Vince Edwards. And the previous year, Swanigan played the 4 also, so it was very difficult to be able to see that, but like each year he just continued to get better. And then obviously when you get to play and you get that opportunity, you play more minutes, you're going to feel better about yourself and feel more comfortable out there. And that's just what he had to really work through earlier in the season last year, and he did a great job for us. He was the most efficient player in the country. It's an unbelievable stat. So many guys want to play the role of somebody who takes all the shots and gets drafted and things like that, but more people need to try to play the role of Grady Eifert, because the only thing he did for us was just help us win games. And at the end of the day, that's how we all get judged.
What's it mean to be up here in Fort Wayne and be a part of the Boilermakers on the Road tour?
Oh, it's great. And actually, I get to come to Coach Shephard's hometown, and talk about the legend for a little while. So it's awesome, and we're happy to be here.
Did he tell you anything about Fort Wayne?
Oh man, I've been hearing about Fort Wayne for the last 3 years, so I finally get to come and visit and see what Fort Wayne really all about.
I know you guys got you graduated Antonio last year, kid from Fort Wayne. You get
Yes.
Mike Johnson this year off of his redshirt season, I
Yes.
believe. Just how excited are you to see what step Lawrence can take here this summer?
Well, you know what? From the time Lawrence has got to our school and to right now, he's made such strides. I think he's ready to actually contribute this year. Probably lost over 30 pounds. Body looked great. We just had a meeting, not too long ago, and his weight gains in the weight room been excellent. So I'm excited to see what Lawrence can do. He's a great kid and hard-working kid. So I'm excited to see what he can do this year.
All right, the defense has really got to kick it in this year. I'm not telling you anything you don't. And again, are they capable of doing it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're a year older on the front seven, which is great. We got some young but talented kids in the secondary. Navon Mosley, Brennan Thinneman, they veteran players that played, Kenneth Major played, and you infuse the secondary with some of those young players. I think we got a chance, and we start training camp on Thursday, and we're excited to get going.
At Big Ten Media Days up in Chicago, Coach Brown called George probably your best player that you guys had on defense this whole spring. What did you like out of George Karlaftis?
Well, first off, he loved football. He loved Purdue. He loved being in the building. He loved, just being around the coaching staff, and he worked hard, and that's kind of, strange to see out of a kid with that kind of talent. So if he just keep that kind of work ethic and keep doing what he's doing, he's going to be a great player for us.
What are some of your expectations for your front seven? I know you said it can be a little bit young, but Lawrence, George, and some other guys hoping to step in.
Well, I just think, a lot of those kids did play a year ago. Obviously George didn't, but Lawrence didn't. But, you got Lorenzo Neal, Anthony Watts, Kai Higgins, and, the list goes on. Derek Barnes, a lot of those guys played a lot of football a year ago, and they were young players. So you're hoping that the experience from a year ago going to translate to, their next year and another year playing, starting and doing that kind of stuff. So we're excited to see what they're going to do.
Rondale's no secret anymore, and he wasn't after like 2 games.
That's right.
How are you going to be able to differentiate and spread it around so that 5 guys aren't on him when he comes out of the hole?
Well, that's kind of been a staple of Jeff Brom's offense. Is we've typically spread the ball around to a lot of different guys. You look back on our history, even with here at Purdue, with the first year with Anthony Mahungu and Jackson Anthrop and so on and so forth, we spread the ball around to a lot of different guys. And even this past year, Terry Wright had his times. Isaac Zico had his games against Ohio State specifically, and Terry Wright against Iowa. At moments you're going to have opportunities. So I have to prepare all the guys at the running back position. We have to prepare them at tight end. We have to prepare them across the board. It could be anybody's time. So and that's been a staple for Jeff Brom. And I know a lot of people have focused in on Rondale Moore and what he's done. And believe me, it's been special. But certainly, we've gotten the ball to some other guys. DJ Knox did a really good job for us. Bryson Hopkins. That's a staple of what we do.
Quarterback is not a new guy, and that helps because when you get a guy that's been versed in the system as much as Elijah has, that's a good thing to start with, isn't it?
Love Elijah. It's a blessing to have a guy who's been in the fire like he has been. Some tough games that he's already played in, so he's got some experience in those moments. But you know what? The thing about Elijah that a lot of people don't see, as serious as a person he is, he can relate to all the guys on our team. That's what he does a tremendous job of in every instance. I mean, it doesn't matter what walk of life they come from, what kind of background they have. He finds a way to relate to our guys, and that's the reason why they've gravitated to him. Obviously his faith in Christ has been tremendous, and he's shown that through and through in his time that we've been with him. So I'm excited for him to really be able to take the reins and let him own it. I mean, and for all of us, a big part of that is just having some consistent play.
Coming off the bowl game, I mean, everybody would like to forget that, but you learned something from it. And what did you learn from it that you're going to apply this year?
Well, that at any moment that can happen to you. So if you're not prepared and ready for the moment, then guess what? That's what's going to happen to you. Every person has their day, but in that particular moment, our guys came out and we needed to be more prepared to play. And that's the one thing about Coach Brom and us as a staff. We kind of put that on our own shoulders to make sure that doesn't happen in the future, and we're going to work our tail off to try to prevent that from happening ever again.
Year 3 on staff for you. I believe this is your 3rd one of these as well up here. Just What's it mean for you to be able to come back home and get to do this event every year?
Love my hometown. Fort Wayne's always got a special place. Just the whole state of Indiana has a special place in my heart, just because I know that, there's some, states down south where, football is played as well, but it means something here. The sport means something here in Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Evansville, all across the state. And so it's great to be able to come back and show face here. And then also that helps out in recruiting. I want to make sure the guys in recruiting know that you got a guy from your area, who knows what you've been through, what you're dealing with, and I can help you achieve all your goals.
Second year as co-offensive coordinator, how do you feel like you're starting to settle in that position?
You know what? Luckily I've been with Coach Braun for a number of years, so this is going on my 6th year with Coach Braun. So I kind of know a little bit about how he operates and what he's looking to accomplish, and he communicates that stuff to me very, very, very freely and enthusiastically. So it was a seamless transition as far as I can see, and we'll continue going forward to try to make it even better. So at some point we're consistently trying to put our mark on this offense and make sure that everybody across the country is excited about it.
What is this offense going to look like?
It's going to be exciting. I can tell you that. Coach Brown's the type, he likes to throw the ball, and in our run game, we like to have explosive plays in that run game. So he likes to have fun with it, and that's what we want our players to always do. Have fun when you come play the game. When you walk into the office, believe me, we're going to have a party in terms of how we play the game.
How do you feel like you've grown as a coach here over the last few seasons since just coming to Purdue and coming back to Indiana?
Number one thing is being able to go out there and take some highly talented young men and install them in the offense right away and have them be successful. Typically, freshmen don't get a chance to come in and have success the way that Rondell Moore had this past year, the way that some other guys we were hoping to have this year. So, that's one thing that's been very key to my learning and understanding is, hey, how do we take these guys right out of high school, put them in position to be successful? And that's been a lot of fun, actually, because you get to know these guys. And sometimes, when they're redshirting and they got to take some time, a year or two down the road, you don't have as much of a touch on them as, hey, man, I just recruited you out of high school and we're going right in to play the game together. That relationship's build even stronger.
I know you can't talk about a name specifically, but you got a big commitment from an area kid. What's this area mean to you and him especially?
Certainly, the guys that come from this area, they see that we're here, we're visible, and that we're out here seeking the guys from this area to come and play for us. So I think that folks are very excited about the fact that Purdue's face is everywhere, and we're big on that. Coach Braun always talks about, hey, we're going to build from right here in our state, in the surrounding states, and then everything else will kind of go pluck a little bit here and there from around the country. So I think that they all know that this is a priority to us. This is not just lip service, and consistently we're going out here and giving opportunities to young men to come to Purdue University and show what you got.
Who are some of those guys, the younger guys this year, that you think might have an impact right away?
Certainly, if I'm George Karloftis on our defense is definitely going to have an impact right away. He's been as much as you would want him to be as a football player since he got there, as far as his training, his studying of the game, his visibility. We were just talking in the car, and George sometimes beats us to the office. He's there so early. So for sure, I think he'll have an impact. David Bell's another one who should have an impact at some point throughout this season. I think that he's a hardworking kid. He does a great job. There's a plethora of the guys. Milton Wright is another one who could have a chance to impact the team this year. But these freshmen that came in, they're hungry. We got some tight ends, some DBs, a corner Allen, who's going to come in and going to compete. They want to come in and play and contribute right away. They're hungry, and that's the reason why they came to Purdue.
I know he's a defensive guy, but he's a Snyder guy as well. What have you seen out of Lawrence?
Lawrence Johnson, I'm very proud of him, just first and foremost. He's done a good job of transforming his body. He's lost some weight, which was huge for him because he came in a little bit overweight. Now he's transformed that into some strength and power in the weight room. We just got done going over some of those numbers with our strength staff, and they've done a tremendous job
job helping him with that, but he's taking it seriously, and that's what's important. He's taking this whole experience seriously. So, I'm just looking forward to seeing what he does here in camp, and once we find that out, then we'll see where the chips may fall.